Welcome to Fierce Fit Feminine and Other F Words, a place for women in business to learn more about health, beauty, and gaining the confidence to show up more powerfully on camera, online, on stage, or wherever you want to be in the spotlight. I'm Christine Brunelli, chiropractor and former beauty salon owner turned certified image consultant, helping you glow from the inside out. Today's episode is a piggyback on last week. Last week we talked about seed oils, the omega-6 oils, and I removed them from my diet. It's a quick episode, 20 minutes. If you want, go back and listen to it after this one. And today we're talking about the dreaded blood sugar spike and then the crash. How do we prevent these energy crashes during the day? And you may think, what does this have to do with me being in business? Well, everything. If our energy crashes, we're not as productive. We don't have the patience, the creativity. All of that affects how we operate, how we think, our creative levels, everything. So I'm ready to give you some quick win strategies to help your blood sugar stay more even Steven throughout the day. Are you ready? Let's dive in. This episode is not a replacement for your healthcare provider and your healthcare. This is just me sharing some techniques and ideas for you to help maintain your blood sugar. You are always encouraged to speak to your licensed healthcare provider about your unique situation and your health. Back in the early 90s, when I was a chiropractic student, I went to Virginia to meet a person that was looking for interns because I was looking for internships. And she had graduated several years ahead of me. She had an office in Williamsburg, Virginia. She was from the UK, and this darling person that I really enjoyed meeting. I did not end up working with her and interning with her, but one thing that she said has stuck in my head for years, and it was this: sweet in the morning keeps you sweet all day. We were having breakfast and she was serving a homemade jam on these beautiful bakery croissants or something like that. I can't even remember exactly what it was, but it was a local bakery. She made the homemade jam and she said, that is what we say back in my home country. Sweet in the morning keeps you sweet all day. I don't know why that has stayed in my head so long, but I remember saying it like in front of my kids when they were little. You know, if we had like on a trip a croissant or a chocolate croissant or something like that, I would say, sweet in the morning keeps you sweet all day, not thinking at all how wrong that is. It does not keep you sweet all day. It messes with your energy and you turn into a grouch about 4 hours later unless you can get another hit of sweet. That's what I want to talk about today. That habit of eating something sweet in the morning is setting you up for failure. And so let's talk about that because we need to set ourselves up for success. We do all of these things, these standard operating procedures for our businesses. We have all of these frameworks that we do to help someone. If you're a chiropractor, you have a framework for how you're going to help someone's spine function better. If you're a dentist, you have a framework for how you're going to clean their teeth and remove cavities. If you're an entrepreneur that sells a service, you have a framework for how your incoming clients are going to go from point A to point B. How come we're not using frameworks for our health? What is our framework? We're just kind of eating, right? We're not paying attention. And in order to have success, have energy in our body, we need to have a framework. And so I want to come out of the gate talking about breakfast. What are you eating for breakfast? Now, some people are intermittent fasting. I'm not going to go into that. I'm just talking about the first food you eat, whether you eat it in the morning when you first wake up or when you're breaking your fast. If you're doing the 16-8 mile model, you would wait several hours after you wake up until you eat. Whichever meal it is, it doesn't matter. The first meal of the day you eat should be savory. And it should be heavy in protein and healthy fats. If you do that, you are not going to have a late morning energy crash. It won't hit you the same. If you eat oatmeal with honey and berries, it sounds delicious, doesn't it? It has fiber in it. Sure, it has a little bit of protein, but it has way too much sugar. You want to go savory in the morning. Skip that sweet breakfast. Skip the cereals. Skip the protein smoothies that have all fruit in them. I'm saying sugar in all forms. You want to not have that first thing in the morning. Out of the gate, savory breakfast. Savory keeps you sweet all day, not sweet. Savory breakfast will keep you sweet and kind and even keel all day long. It sets your day up for success. So right out of the gate, let's just get that on the table. If you are not eating a savory breakfast, if you're having something sugary, and by the way, it doesn't have to be sweet. Sugar can also be a simple carbohydrate like a plain croissant or English muffin or something bready that's starchy, carby, something like that, that has no protein or healthy fat value to it. That's the goal. And if you're 45-ish and over, you should be shooting for probably 20 grams of protein at breakfast minimum. Oh my gosh, Christine, what? You can get that in a protein shake. So if you have a protein shake that's not heavy with like banana and all of these really wonderful fruits that have a high sugar content, you're fine. If it's just a protein shake with high protein, you're fine. But if you are trying to do something quick and you're just eating on the run, you have some type of bread or cereal or protein bar, those are loaded with sugar, by the way. Those are setting you up for wanting more sugar later, because what happens is that sweet, that sugar, that carb, whatever carbohydrate you're eating, the body is going to treat it like sugar, even if it's just bread, and it's going to want a hit of that sugar as soon as your blood sugar crashes from it. Your body's going to go, more, I want more. Oh my gosh, I'm craving something. I don't know what it is. And then all of a sudden you're realizing I'm grabbing something sweet. That's because you started your day off sweet. You want to start your day off savory. If you can give yourself 10 extra minutes or 15 extra minutes, make yourself a hot breakfast that's high in protein. Now, I know that you may be a vegetarian, you may not be, but that's why I'm not going to go into what to make for breakfast. But if you're not a vegetarian and you're eating eggs, you could make it eggs. You could make it sausage and eggs. You could make it, bacon and eggs. You could make it some type of egg-based breakfast. You could make it a protein shake if you really wanted to, but something that has protein, probably 20 grams is where you want to be minimum. 20 grams. I know that sounds like a lot, and it is a lot. But once you do this for a couple days, you're going to notice, whoa, I'm not even hungry for my next meal for several hours. That's because your blood sugar is even. So that's how we're going to start off your day. Heavy protein and healthy fat in your meal. And healthy fat, but what I mean by that is it's not a trans fat that is going to go right to your fat cells. It's a healthy fat that the body can convert into energy. Butter, it has healthy fat. Avocado is healthy fat. Coconut oil is a healthy fat. Things like that. Nuts, they have a healthy fat. Very good for you. That's your breakfast. That's how you're going to start your day. And now let's talk about how we're going to eat the carbs that we all love. How are we going to keep those in our diet without having the blood sugar spike and then the crash? Okay, here it is. Whatever carbohydrate you eat, I don't care if it's a strawberry or blueberry, if it's a slice of apple, if it is a chip of some kind or a cracker, maybe you get salt snack attacks and you want something carby, don't eat it alone. Pair it with a protein or fat. That's how you're going to help your body not spike your blood sugar and crash. So some people call them naked carbs. Don't eat your carbs naked. That's not my term. I don't know who came up with it, but no naked carbohydrates. Pair those things with a fat or a protein. So this means that you need to really educate yourself on what contains protein and what contains fat. Nuts are a safe bet. You can add any nuts, even if it's chocolate. Maybe you want a hit of chocolate And at, 2:00 in the afternoon, you want a little bit of chocolate, pair it with nuts. And I don't mean peanut M&Ms, okay? Like if you want a piece of chocolate, have a salted or unsalted raw almonds, have a handful of those. Or hazelnuts, they're really good for your blood sugar and your thyroid, by the way. Or walnuts, or any kind of nut that's high in protein and has a little bit of fat is what you're looking for if you want to pair it that way. The other thing you could do is have hummus. Hummus has some high protein content. You can pair it with hummus. Find something to pair your carbohydrate with so you don't eat it alone. Ever again. Ever. I don't want you to eat those carbs alone, because once you start changing how you eat them, your blood sugar stays even, Steven. Now, let's say you went to a party or you went to a restaurant and you did eat some heavy carbs without enough protein. Let's just throw it out there, because life happens, doesn't it? And maybe you went out and it was an Italian dinner and you had an enormous plate of pasta, and on that pasta, there was more carbohydrate than there was protein. The one thing you can do, if you are dialing this in and you want a less sugar crash, because that pasta can be converted into sugar, spikes your blood sugar, and then it crashes, the one thing you can do if you didn't eat enough protein is move your body. So take a walk it off. Move. I don't care what it is. Move your body in some way. And I don't mean like stroll to the fax machine or the copy machine at work. I mean intentional movement. Make your body move, because it is going to use the fuel that it has differently, and the food that you ate, it's going to utilize that in a different way. So it will kind of trick it into not giving you a blood sugar spike and then crash. So if that happens and you didn't eat protein, walk. Like go for a nice brisk walk. And that should happen like within 10 or 15 minutes of the meal. So if you can't walk, I'm envisioning a scenario. You're out on a date, couples night, like you're on a double date with your significant other and another couple, and they don't want to walk, or it's raining, or you don't have that option. There are things you can do, but people are going to look at you like, why is she marching in place? Or why is she doing flutter punches? What is wrong with her? So you definitely have to be careful with, you're worried about like being with other people and, oh my gosh, I ate too many carbs and not enough protein. I have to move my body. They're going to look at you, I'm sure, like, what? But if you can find some time alone to give your body some active movement, if you excuse yourself to the restroom and you're in, a quiet place where nobody can see you, like reach overhead 10 times or flutter punch your arms a few times. It doesn't have to last a long time. Just a burst of some type of energy. Move your body, just give it movement. And if you can walk, that would be even better. But some type of movement so that your body burns that off, and it will help prevent the spike. So that is something you want to think about ahead of time. It's if I'm going out among people and if I, didn't think about my food so much and my protein consumption so much, and I ate too many carbs. Okay, what can I do? I can move my body. How am I going to do this? I'm around all these people. You have to process it. Again, frameworks. We have framework for our business. We need framework for our health. The first framework in your framework is savory breakfast. The second part of the framework is don't eat carbs alone. Don't eat them naked. Pair them with a protein. The third part of the framework is if I messed up, what can I do? You can move your body. Okay, so there are options for you. It's like your escape exit clause so that you can prevent that blood sugar crash. Okay, the final tip I have for you, and I saved it for last because I wanted you to listen to everything up until now and not tune me out. But what are you putting in your coffee or your tea? What are you using for caffeine if you're a caffeine drinker? Are you drinking caffeinated things in a can that are sweetened? Are you loading your coffee up with sugar? Same thing. the same thing applies. It is spiking. It's not only revving your energy because of the caffeine and the effect caffeine has on our body, which I am an espresso drinker. So I'm not going to tell you to let go of your caffeine. I drink espresso in the morning. I have green tea in the afternoon, early afternoon. And green tea is more antioxidant, and I do it mostly for that, but it also has some caffeine in it. I drink them unsweetened, zero. Give it to me straight. I like the flavor of coffee. I like the flavor of my green tea. I don't like anything sweet in my drinks anyway, but I know that I'm not the norm. I know that most people are out there loading up their coffee, their tea, or they're drinking Red Bull, and it's loaded with sugar. And if it's sugar-free, that's a whole different episode with the chemicals you're putting in your body. So I'm not going to go there. I'm just talking about if you drive through Starbucks, how many pumps of whatever are you getting in your coffee? It's something to think about. You're really damaging your pancreas when you do that 1 to 2 times a day, every day. It's hard on your pancreas to keep pushing out insulin because of all the sugar that we're eating. And it's not just the sweet sugar. It's the carbohydrates that look like bread, pasta, rice, all of these things that we're eating alone without enough protein. But when we're drinking coffee and it's alone, usually, if you're sipping on a coffee all morning or sipping on a coffee in the afternoon and you're not eating and you're putting all that sugar in your body, it's spiking your blood sugar and you're going to crash. So what you need to think about is maybe we should try reducing that sugar in half. Maybe we should say, I normally get 6 pumps of vanilla. I'm going to go down to 3 and wean yourself off of it. If you can't drink the coffee without that sugar, wean yourself down, right? Slowly wean yourself down, because the one thing that sugar does is it creates addiction. You want the hit of more sugar, and that's because of our blood sugar crashes. That's what the body wants you to do. The body's like, oh no, we're out of sugar, more. And so we look for it. In every way, shape, or form, your body and your palate knows instinctively, I need something that's going to be an easy, quick hit of energy, and that is sweet. But that's not helping your body, and it's not helping you have sustainable energy. So I want you to think about your caffeine drinks too. All right, I hope this helps you. You have your frameworks now. One more time for review: savory breakfast, no sugar. And the second one is don't eat carbs alone. Pair it with protein and fat every single time. There's no exception. And the third one is if you over carbohydrate yourself with either sweets or starchy foods and you didn't get enough protein, one way you can prevent the crash of the blood sugar is move your body. Move it. And the fourth thing I want you to think about is your caffeinated beverages if you sweeten them. And those tips are going to help you be set up for success for more even energy. If you are diabetic, this will definitely help you. But as I said in the beginning of the episode, consult with your licensed healthcare professional, because your individual health needs are different. Yours, mine, everyone. But the one thing that's not different is our pancreas does not want to work as hard as we're making it work. It doesn't. We are really especially in the United States and Canada, we are pushing it to the limits. And that's why diabetes is it's almost pandemic. I mean, so many people have type 2 diabetes, but we're not to that point yet. I'm talking before you even get to that point. If you are finding your energy is crashing during the day, I can almost guarantee it's because of how you are eating your carbohydrates. All right, I hope this helped. I'll be back next time. And until then, have a fierce, fit, feminine, and fabulous day.